The saddest thing in life is wasted talent. The first thing that I really started doing was making fresh mozzarella.
We don't know if Gino's the guy. Is Gino the guy?
Not only am I the guy, but I'm the only fucking guy. Over 150 plus different Italian restaurants serve my family's fresh pasta. Cuts, the burns, the depression, interactions with the staff, the amount of variables that we deal with on a daily basis. And I think that's where a lot of owners go wrong, or they're too hands-off.
Have you thought about actual systems that you're going to be put in place that is there to protect yourself, your staff?
Whatever you're dealing with in your life, you have to put aside because your guest is there to enjoy their experience. Hey, listen, I see you trying.
Yeah.
Well, let's try it this way. Let's do it together.
Going across the world and having people recognize what you do or who you are is an incredible feeling. And what I've realized in taking care of guests, it's not a service, it's an absolute privilege.
This is delicious. Gino Bartucci comes from a line of pasta makers. He grew up around Pasta Fresh, an Italian import business on Harlem Avenue, where making pasta fresh daily wasn't just a trend. From those roots to building restaurants like Bartucci, Pasta Via, and Gino and Marty's, one of Chicago's most talked about restaurants. Gino's story is one of craft, ambition, and the challenge that comes with putting your name on the door. Today, we're talking about family, discipline, expansion, accountability, and what it means to be earning a legacy over time. Gino, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Welcome to All in Good Taste. I'm so excited to be hanging out with you behind the line. I think we're gonna start with just cooking up some pasta. So what are we making today?
I think you said you like a little carbonara.
Absolutely.
But I have this beautiful spicy red sauce I'm gonna make for you. I'm gonna do an amatriciana, which is like an older sister of the carbonara.
Okay, super
so
cool.
I think that's the best of both worlds because I'm gonna eat some too.
Perfect, I love that, I love it, I
Beautiful.
love it, I love it. Before restaurants, obviously, you know, Italian cooking comes from a lot of things about family, right? Tell me about your family. Tell me about your roots. What brought you into the world of Italian cuisine?
So when my dad came to America, his first job was working at an Italian deli.
Okay.
So it was kind of in the neighborhood. You know, he came in from Ellis Island, came to Chicago,
Gotcha.
where some other family members were. But the first job he could get was at an Italian deli on Harlem Avenue called Riviera.
Okay.
He would literally work for the ends of lunch meats. So when you can't slice the salami anymore, when the prosciutto's down to the end of the piece, those little ends is what he would take home as his pay.
Okay, gotcha.
So if that doesn't give you a little pride in what you do, you know, that really started kind of his love for Italian food in America.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool. And then I know, obviously, yourself, you grew up around seeing pasta made fresh. Can you tell me a little bit about like what it was growing up around Pasta Fresh, and what is Pasta Fresh?
So Pasta Fresh is a little pastificio.
Okay.
You know, in Italy, they're everywhere. We started to do a little more of a marketplace, and then got really successful in our B2B distribution.
Okay.
I want to say, you know, over 150 plus different Italian restaurants, even currently serve my family's fresh pasta.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. For me, it was very, very normal growing up, though. We were organic before organic was even a term.
Okay.
We are feeding your family what my family was eating. So growing up, I mean, we didn't have babysitters. I would literally have to be in the back of the kitchen. You know, my cousins, my aunts, my uncle, the time when I was a kid, high school kids that were slicing deli meat, those became my role models.
Gotcha.
Those became the people that I learned from. You know, and you start getting kind of that energy in the kitchen, that vibe, that kitchen culture.
Yeah.
I was experiencing it without even really realizing what I was doing or what I was seeing.
Gotcha.
You know, and then fast forward, those are kind of like dinosaurs in the business now. And I really appreciate those times because you don't see that in kitchen anymore. Those kitchens were tough. It was very, very strict as far as what rules you had to do.
For sure.
I had areas where I could play with my toys, and if I wasn't being quiet, if I wasn't behaving, I was getting put to work.
Heard. So how early were you making fresh pasta yourself? Like when did they get you rolling out dough?
So the first thing that I really started doing was making fresh mozzarella. Believe it or not, as like a 10-year-old kid, I'd be using the slicer, so I'd be slicing deli meat.
I'm gonna have to see some photos of that, of you slicing some deli meat away at 10 years old.
Yeah, I've gotten a couple haircuts since. I mean, I had like this big curly afro. And it would actually kind of probably help my dad's business, in like his restaurants.
Yeah.
The servers would love when I would go present the checks.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you're immediately getting an extra $20.
Oh yeah, because you
know,
send a little
when
10-year-old
cute little
kid right over
Italian
there
kid with the big curly afro, saying grazie, fa un buona serata, have a great night, everybody.
Yeah.
How are you not going to tip?
I mean,
the
I'm
servers?
sure the servers love that too.
Oh,
They're like,
for
no,
sure.
no, Gino's got to come drop my check. Gino's got to drop my check. That's better than dropping a mint or a piece of candy off of the table.
Oh, 100%, 100%. So my dad, I hate to say he was like whoring me out, but he was whoring me out from a young age. But it was really it was giving us a sense of presence in a room.
Okay.
A sense of confidence that I realized later on, that it doesn't matter what situation you're in or what you're doing. If you play the part, if you hold yourself with class, with pride, if you show respect, you're going to get respect. And doing that put me ahead of a lot of my peers at a younger age.
Yeah.
Where I hate to say, even though for bad reasons, sometimes I was the ringleader in many situations, but that's what my dad was kind of pruning me for.
Gotcha.
I remember a time when my dad had this restaurant, Da Lui Gino, in Oak Park. It was booked out like 3 months in advance. I was one of the first main staples of Oak Park, which made Oak Park
For sure.
eventually. And I was in the kitchen. It was like a Friday night. It was like 8 p.m., middle of dinner rush.
Yeah.
And of course, we didn't have babysitters. I'm sitting in my dad's office, kind of connected to the kitchen. And I walk up to the line. I tell the chefs, like, I'm hungry. Make me something to eat.
Yeah.
And they look at me like,
who is this guy?
why are you talking to me right
Yeah.
now? You know what I mean? The look of death. And then, I had an attitude about it. And, they grabbed my dad because now I'm in their way.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, what do you think you're doing? And I said, Papa, I'm hungry. I own this restaurant.
Yeah.
This is our restaurant. They're going to make me something
They're gonna make
food.
me
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, you own this restaurant? He made me put on yellow gloves that went past my elbows, the scrubbing
Oh,
gloves.
absolutely.
He goes, you want to be the owner of the restaurant, get to the bathrooms. It starts with cleaning the bathrooms. And that night, I was up till like 12:30.
Oh, I'm sure.
Which I didn't even knew that time existed at
yet.
8 years old. Like, I didn't eat dinner that night.
Yeah.
I cleaned bathrooms, all 4 of the bathrooms, the one in the back, the ADA in the front, the 2 other, I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my dad's kind of first crash lesson in saying, if you really want to be the owner, if you want people to look up to you,
Yeah.
if you want people to follow you, you have to show by example.
Yeah.
You have to be the person that you say you are. And I think that was really important lesson at 8 years old.
I mean, it sounds like quite the one, and I'm sure that's also been transitioned into everything that you do today. Like bringing people in. How do you start with like training teams and like transitioning that sort of stuff for you as well?
The best generals are the first on the field and the last off.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes I think it's become at points as I've gotten bigger, more popular, or there's more at stake.
Yeah,
I think it's almost been a detriment to me sometimes. It takes a lot of time and effort to train people.
Yes.
And then you always have that mentality, well, I could just do it myself.
I can just do it, yeah.
Right.
But you gotta step back, you gotta delegate, because that's how you grow and you have a handful of restaurants. There's no way you can be at every single one every single day. Well, and you hope to instill in those people the same ethics that you have, the work ethic, the actual quality of character that you have, and not everybody does that on a regular basis. Yeah.
So being there, like my dad always says this old Italian saying that the horse only gets fat in the hand of the owner, right?
Okay.
So if you're not there, if you're not seeing it, if you're not hands-on, how can I tell you as an employee that you're doing something bad or you need to be doing something better if I haven't done it myself? If I haven't seen what your A to B to C is like, how can I make that smoother, better, more efficient?
For sure.
And I think that's where a lot of owners go wrong, or they're too hands-off.
Yeah.
And sometimes in the past, I've been too hands-on, which is a lesson learned as well.
I mean, that's fair. And we're kind of talking a little bit about like legacy here. I know your family has this pasta company that already exists. So how do you take that, right, and you step and go, hey, I'm going to start opening places where I'm cooking. So what does legacy look like you versus inheriting something, but then also building something yourself?
I think it starts like there's a beauty in what they're doing.
Okay.
Right. They've been there for over 40 years. My
incredible.
dad opened Gino's Italian Imports next door to Pasta Fresh in 1979.
Is your dad's name also Gino, or am I?
No, my
Okay.
dad's name
So
is
was-
also Gino.
Okay, I was like, did he already name it off?
I'm not
after
a
you,
Gino
pre-existing?
Jr. Yeah,
Okay,
he's
got you,
Luigi.
got you.
He's Luigi Gino, and I'm Marcantonio Gino.
Got you.
So,
okay.
but we all go by Gino. And his first place was Gino's Italian Imports.
Gotcha.
So putting my name on something as Gino's was kind of a tribute to him as well, in saying thank you and showing that it comes full circle.
Yeah.
And to that, the point about legacy and tradition and keeping it, you have to acknowledge the beauty, that what parts are beautiful of it.
Yeah.
And sometimes my dad or my uncle don't even realize it being in the scene. The new generation, Gino 2.0, sees things and values things that they might think is normal. As people or you might look at my childhood and say, oh, those are real special moments.
For sure.
And without hearing it from you, for me, it's just my regular
It's
upbringing.
just what it was. Yeah.
So I think, to your question, the really important thing is finding what worked, which was consistency.
Yeah.
The level of quality of the product, creating a family atmosphere that people want to come back to. We think we're all fighting for customers,
Yeah.
but we're actually fighting for return customers.
Yeah.
Everyone can get people to check something out once, but
It's
making
getting
them
them
come
back in
is-
another time and
that's
building
the
that
secret
sort of thing.
sauce.
Yeah.
So for 40 years, without marketing budget, without social media, basically just phones.
Yeah.
I mean, they still accept checks.
Yeah.
Like we don't even have like copper credit card systems.
Let me get in here.
Yeah, I
really
might have
quick.
made that a little spicy. We
That's
do a
perfect.
pickled Calabrian chili pepper. Where my dad's from in Italy, they have some of the best chili peppers in the world. So
I'm gonna make a mess here. I'm just gonna go in for a
yeah,
bite.
just go in, man. You got some napkins there for you. There you go. That was a decent twirl. I would give you like intermediate level twirl.
Thank you, Gino. That's delicious.
Yeah,
no, that's
thank you.
great.
Thank you.
And I like that you added actually a little bit extra of the chili. I mean, I'm all about adding as much heat as we can. So like for me, this is
Beautiful.
This is delicious.
You have that good heat. You have beautiful color.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it was two friends sitting in the kitchen
Making
good food.
pasta. So you got the
there's
love,
some
right?
amore. Yeah, absolutely. See,
That's great.
See how it all comes together?
It all comes together. Well, I mean, I think I'm going to take another bite of this first. So I'm going to start asking.
I'm
you
in
some
no
more
rush, man.
questions.
I'm here all day.
All your restaurants, as we kind of talked about over there behind the line, are all very family driven.
Yeah.
How do you keep that kind of energy alive with the culture of your teams and with your staff as well?
That's a great question, and it's difficult at times in a hospitality setting, and not just my restaurants. Don't worry, you feel like family now. You got
I do, a little bit. Oh, thank you.
No, in any hospitality setting, we spend more times as an employment group, more time with each other than we do with our families. Realistically, you're spending more time away from your wife, your kids, your mother, father, brother, sister. We're spending 10 hours a day, 8 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week with each other, right? So it is important to have somewhat of a family sense. To make everybody feel like part of the family. As I was really getting started, really kind of getting my lift in Bartucci, I would watch some of my staff members' kids in the back office while I was doing work. I would come in and play with the kids in the kitchen. While
Did you have them make dough just like you were making dough as a kid too?
I have trained a lot of them. I don't want to say officially they were working
for sure.
but we taught them some good life skills. Let's just say that. So there's a fine line though, because we spend so much time with each other, not only working, but after work, you might go get a couple drinks. A lot of these people, a lot of my staff in the past, I ended up going to their weddings. I'm setting them up with their future spouse. I'm going to their kids' birthdays. So I think there is a very special connection in my family upbringing and how I treat and work with the rest of my employees. But family is the hardest thing to work with. So you do have to have boundaries, and I've learned to create boundaries, and not necessarily being their friend. And I think that's really difficult.
It's a hard line to walk.
For sure. I've had some people that have worked with me for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, and they're so entrenched in not only your business life, but your personal life as well, where they start believing the sauce wouldn't taste the same without them.
Gotcha.
Not something that is an ego-driven way to say, there's a reason I'm in my position. I've worked to get to my position. Not everybody should be, could be, wants to be in my position.
For sure.
But everyone thinks that they deserve that
same spot.
Okay. And that's not always the case. So treating people like family is really important, and building a good culture and making everyone work together. But just like a family, you have to be the stern father, and sometimes you might have to lift your hand.
Okay. Heard. Now taking it from obviously like connecting with your team and connecting with everybody that you have in as a family, right? Bringing guests in. What is that like? What do you want guests to feel when they first walk into your spaces?
I think a lot of my guests will and have answered that question for me in the past.
Okay.
I love my guests. I really do. That's what keeps me going. That's my drive. When people walk into any one of my establishments, they feel an ownership. They feel that they should be there.
Okay.
That we are waiting for you. Whether it's me opening up a table, whether they're just stopping in to say hi. We talked about.
I flagged you a few times too, or like,
so we've had coffee. There's 2-3 people pulling over, yelling, and
you're like, "Hey, Gino, come on outside."
but it gives people. Why do people go out and spend money in restaurants? It's a feeling of being seen. It's part of the human experience. Whatever you're doing in life, you want to be seen. You want to notice. From the childhood days of like, Mom, look at me do this, and you're not really doing anything special. So I think it's when all my guests come in, I make them feel seen. I truly enjoy seeing them. I appreciate them coming to spend their money with me, but more so than their money, you're spending your time with me. I've had a lot of friends, unfortunately, family, pass in the last couple years. And something that is really impactful for me is when I'm at these wakes, when I'm at these funerals, and I start seeing all of the pictures that is ultimately the accumulation of someone's life. Right? What will your pictures at your funeral, what will that show? Where were those pictures taken? What were the experiences that made it to the wall? When you're gone and your family's remembering you. And as I'm at these events, and as sometimes depressing as they may be, there's a beautiful feeling, and it's an intangible value to see that some of these people's greatest moments in their life, that their family is remembering them by, was created at one of my restaurants, was created at one of my parties. I had a hand in fabricating that memory for that person.
A part of that life, a part of the journey.
So when you ask that question, I think that's the most important part of it. And what I've realized in taking care of guests, it's not a service, it's an absolute privilege. And I think that might be, as we're all trying to be rich and powerful, that might be the most powerful thing that I could do in this life.
Is give back and have those little marks. And I mean, we do have a blessing in the hospitality space, right? We do get to see these highest highs, these lowest lows. Like you said, I mean, we are, celebrating birthdays, we're celebrating anniversaries, but we're also, having people in when they just came back from a funeral, just came back from a wake. You talked about photos on the wall really quickly, and I kind of want to dive in there. And maybe this is somber, but if you're looking back at your life so far, what photos of yourself do you expect to see on your wall?
That's a great question. I'd like to have photos less of me and more with other people.
Okay.
I think those would be the most important photos that I would have on my wall. I would have photos with my family, of course. I'd want to see photos of how other people felt in my presence, not just photos of me with celebrities, not
Yeah.
photos of me looking cool, not photos of, you know, me.
Not you with a slice of pizza. No, we're not doing that.
A pizza. Like all that shit's great. Like it's awesome. That creates a fun life for me. But it's all about the footprint you leave. And I think if you see me smile in any pictures, I smile the biggest, the brightest when I'm around people I love. And I think that's the most important thing is how others remember you by. And, you know, in the short time that I have on earth, table by table, plate by plate, I'm trying to do my part in creating those memories for those people.
That's great. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Oh, there goes a fork. We are like family.
Mom, fork!
So, I mean, kind of jumping into the next bits here, right? I kind of want to ask you about your growth, your expansion, your plan. You've opened a bunch of different restaurants.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you give me the timeline? What have we opened? What have we moved on from? Kind of just the whole rundown. This is one to.
Yeah, my first restaurant I opened while I was a food and beverage director at the Dana Hotel.
Okay.
Very successful hotel, very successful food and beverage department. A lot of great memories. That's where I started in my real core staff.
Gotcha.
And I met a lot of these people and really became a fabric in their lives. It taught me a lot on a corporate level. It was important for me for going corporate for that long to go back and reinvest in my roots. So 2014, 12/12/14. So actually this would be the 11-year anniversary today.
Well, happy anniversary.
Yeah, for sure. This would be my first restaurant. I opened Bartucci.
Gotcha.
I opened it as 6 tables.
Super intimate. I mean, I can see how that is really one table at a time. Very family, very close.
It really was, and I needed every one of those tables. I needed every one of those plates. It was a fight every day to make sure that you were putting one more plate out, you were serving one extra side, you know what I mean? Like, I hope you bought a drink with dinner. And it was really hard to fill that for the first 2 years while I was working full time.
Because that was also like localist here in 11 years ago. I mean, West Loop, right? I mean,
this was on Harlem Ave.
Okay, Harlem, okay.
Yeah, so this is Harlem Avenue next to my family's pasta shop. After I've been downtown for a while, I said, I want to get back to my roots.
Okay.
After learning the corporate cool downtown thing, meeting some celebrities, I got some national awards individually and from a corporate standpoint at the hotel. So I thought that I was comfortable to say, I can go back to my family business with my own taste and touch on certain things and get the respect from my family. That wasn't just a kid anymore that grew up into the restaurants.
For sure.
I was a professional. I was an acclaimed professional separately that then I came back to open Bartucci. But the first 2 years of Bartucci, I was literally working full time, dumping entire paychecks from the hotel into Bartucci, taking care of my staff's rent before me, paying for one of my cook's kids' birthday parties, or one of my managers is getting married and giving him an advance, whatever it would be. To keep that place alive. And by the 4th year, we went from barely filling 6 tables to doing a couple hundred covers a night.
That's incredible. Like that turn.
Yeah, Dining Out magazine named us top 5 Italian restaurants in the city of Chicago. I was in the Zaga Review and all types of other things. So that for me was arriving to the scene in a bigger way, doing something that was authentic to me and my story. It wasn't making money for someone else. It wasn't Gino in a suit 6 days a week. It was getting back to the nitty gritty, getting back to kind of the hard work and doing it the right way. After doing that for a couple years, I had some partners and investors that eventually opened up the idea for Gino and Marty's. I was involved in a couple other restaurants and bars throughout that process as small minority partners, none too notable to name, just notches on the belt. And when some of my investors that knew me from the Dana Hotel days came in to say, hey Gino, what are you up to nowadays? And to see me going from suits 6 days a week to Harlem Avenue in a dirty apron with a bandana on my head, a cut-off T-shirt, ripping a cig in the back, covered in sauce. They're like, wait, not only are you the person that you are in the front of house.
Yeah. But you're living it, you're doing
it.
Yeah.
Kind of a fucking monster. And we didn't know this about you.
Yeah.
And then that's what started the conversation to then open Gino and Marty's on Randolph Street,
Gotcha.
which is something I don't think that I would have been able to raise the funds for.
I mean,
or
it's
had
a
the
prime
trust.
place of real estate. I mean,
Thank you. I think it's the best address in the city of Chicago.
All right. I mean, that's a bold statement.
Yeah,
but
I mean, find me a better one.
find
me a better one. I'll try.
I don't got one on my hand, so no, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, opening up over on Randolph. So when did you actually open Gino and Marty's? When did that?
Just after COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, just after COVID.
Okay.
I want to say about 3 years ago now today.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was a huge splash, huge success. Started off almost too strong. And I have to say that in retrospect, it probably taught me towards the latter part of my career, after I've already have been a veteran up until this point. For sure. Up until the point of opening Gino and Marty's, I've been a nightlife, restaurant, hospitality veteran for 15 plus years at this point. And I think that taught me some of the hardest lessons that I've had to learn.
For sure.
Not only, I knew the food side of it, I knew the service side of it, but really developing and growing, scaling, trusting, making everything into kind of standard operating, and making, being a piece of a bigger puzzle that you have to work with all types of investors and partners. And unfortunately in our business, egos.
Yeah.
And I think that is the make or break of everything that we do. No matter how good the food is, how good the service is.
Yeah, I mean, that can really
in your
change.
experience.
Oh, God, yeah.
An ego will take down everything. It will ruin everything. Nothing else will matter.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I had to deal with one or two of the biggest, most unfounded egos, unfortunately.
And I know we're going to get back to that one in a little bit. We're going to get back to that conversation shortly. We're going to keep it on the track of the restaurants here. I kind of want to talk about Pasta Via now too, and bringing
So Gino Marty's is firing on all cylinders, going strong. Of course, it's creating a lot of other opportunities now for me.
Yeah.
So before I opened Pasta Via, I had an opportunity to go out to Dubai.
Super cool.
Which was really cool. Never been to Dubai at this point, and then in this last year, I've been to Dubai like probably 6 or 7 times throughout this last year, which is wild for me.
Oh, for sure.
It's wild for my dad too, because my dad thinks I'm going to the Middle East and I'm like, staying in a tent or something.
Yeah. But Dubai is stunning. Dad, I don't think.
Oh no! Yeah.
I was like, you got to bring your dad with you one time and be like, hey, Dad, we're not staying in the tent.
I'm gonna have to do kind of a cultural training with him a little bit.
Understood.
Because he's a little too old school of a Chicago Italian at this point.
Gotcha.
So there are some nuances that he might want to pick up.
Fair.
But it was a really cool experience for me, going across the world and having people recognize what you do or who you are.
Yeah.
Is an incredible feeling. I don't know how to quantify that, So going out there, I had an opportunity to have some investors say, we love Chicago culture. Nobody's doing Chicago deep dish. I'm not a huge pizza maker.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of deep dish. Pasta is what I grew up doing. I grew up doing, like vero italiano, like real Italian food.
Yeah.
Not even so much Italian American. I didn't grow up with the fettuccine Alfredos. I didn't grow up with chicken parms.
Yeah.
If there was a parm, maybe it was a melanzana parmigiana at best, but it was more real Italian. So this was a chance to showcase what I grew up seeing and doing. So I was like, let's open up a little beef stand. We called it Mr. Chicago.
Yeah.
We opened in Global Village. It was really cool. Yeah, I had countless memories, stories, connections, and now we're looking at a 2-location deal with some new partners. I'm going to be going out there. I'm spending a month out there in a month from now. So I hope to have another podcast with you updating.
Hey, there we go. Maybe we'll do that one in Dubai.
Yeah, maybe that one.
That sounds like a plan. I'll join you out in Dubai. That sounds perfect.
So while I'm doing that, while Gino and Marty's is firing at all cylinders, I had a roommate, one of my best friends, Billy Fogel, who when we were, shortly after the Dana Hotel, he was leaving, he was working with Rocket Ranch and Underground. So he kind of left the hospitality industry for a little bit.
Yeah.
I was resetting my focus of hospitality at that time, leaving the hotel, going back to the family story. And as roommates, kind of figuring it out and, you know, trying to save money here and there and having those nights.
For sure.
Billy would always text me to bring food home from Bartucci.
Gotcha.
And he's a Jewish kid from the East Coast. Like, you know, there's a lot of good food, but there might not be old school quality Italian food where he grew up.
Gotcha.
So, you know, he's very well versed on, you know, fine dining and good restaurants and what is good, what is not, but he wasn't used to eating Italian food, fresh pasta as I was.
Yeah.
So then every night, you know, one night was like, hey, Gino, bring me home a plate of pasta. Turned into every single night,
bring me home
2 plates of pasta, because there's ones that he wanted and then one he wanted to try. And then after a couple months, you know, we're kind of talking, he started working for Postmates, and they were really growing, and there was a lot of market studies in his job. And, you know, we were identifying the fact that there wasn't an Italian quick service option.
Gotcha.
In, let's say, the fast food market. I hate to use the word fast food, you know, because this is food that is fast, but in nowhere near the category of quality of fast food. So, you know, I'm like, really, my family's fresh pasta takes 90 seconds to boil.
Yeah.
So if we have some sauces ready to go, we could do a Chipotle style setup where you pick your favorite pasta, you pick your sauce, you pick your vegetables, you pick your proteins, no seed oils. We stay away from as many GMOs and altered food products. Everything is fresh, it's organic, it's made in front of you. You're choosing what you want to put into your body.
Yeah.
So as I'm sitting here working 80 hours a week, 100 hours a week at some points in some of these restaurants where, you know, I would go to Dubai and then Gino's sales would Gino Marty's would decrease 30% for the 2 weeks that I would go in Dubai because people want to see me and I'm hosting people and they're not getting the right treatment. The food's maybe tasting a little different when you're gone.
Service is different. There's a little bit of a different change.
I realized, well, like, how long could I keep this up?
Yeah.
You know, like I might look incredible. I might look very young. I might look very in shape. But you can only keep the engine revving, redlining for so long before I have to start thinking about how do I scale.
Yes.
And I started getting into this by saying I want to share my family story, my family product, what I grew up doing. I want to share it with Chicago. Well, now I want to share it with the world. I want to share it with the nation first.
Yeah.
And Pasta Via is a way that I can, in a cheap, fast, recreatable manner, give every American family across the country a taste of the quality Italian pasta that I grew up eating.
Yeah.
So I think that's the beauty of Pasta Via. I think we're applicable in every single market across the United States. You know, and we're looking, we have a great group of partners. We're growing as a business. We're figuring out our systems and our execution, and I'm really confident that one day, you know, we'll be talking about 5,200 locations in the next 5 to 10 years.
Incredible to see, going just absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, that's really awesome.
It should. Eat your pasta.
Eat
Stay
your
in
pasta.
school.
I know,
eat your
I know.
pasta.
Which I think I am going to chip a little bit away more at this. We're going to continue our conversation. We're going to go on a little walk here. Beautiful. Going to walk down the street to Gino and Marty's.
Wait, so you've never seen the Bronx Tale?
I have never seen the Bronx Tale. No.
That's a classic, especially for an Italian American kid.
Yeah.
Like I grew up like resonating with Colodro very, very well.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good life lessons, man. You gotta watch
Run me through it. Run me through it.
What's night movie?
What's a lesson from that movie that stuck out
Couple
with
of the
you?
most important lessons. The saddest thing in life is wasted talent.
Okay.
Sonny also talks about the balance between love and fear, and I'm understanding that it might be more important to be feared when we've spent our life in hospitality trying to be loved.
Okay.
You know?
I mean, I feel like those are definitely some good lessons.
Yeah, and most importantly, your girlfriend, before she becomes your wife, has to pass the door test.
Okay, what's the door test
You have to unlock the door.
Okay.
Put your keys in it, unlock, open it for her.
Yeah.
Sit her in, shut the door. Then you walk around the back, look through the back window and see if she leans over to open the door for you. Because if she doesn't, she's a pig and she can't be trusted.
Oh, yikes. All right, well, I guess we're back at Gino's.
Let me open up the door, baby.
All right, let's do it.
As you see, we've changed our scene a little bit here. We've walked down the street and we've sat down at Gino and Marty's. We kind of want to just jump into some of the things that are going on. I want to kind of start talking about partnerships. I know we talked about it a little bit earlier on, but you know, restaurant ownership, it often requires partnerships. What is the hardest part about building a business with other people?
I think one of the hardest part is, well, the hardest part, and there's no way to really know when you're doing it, is positioning yourself with the right people. Unfortunately, you don't find out if they're the right people until later on.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like dating someone. Like, you know, your first date might be great.
Yeah.
You might say after your first date when you're going home, you know, I could see myself with this person. This person excites me. This person makes me feel great about myself. And then, you know, the 5th date, the 10th date, you start seeing personality quirks. You start seeing red flags. You start seeing that maybe this person doesn't have the right values, the right character traits.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking, what would my mom, what would my family think about that? How does that reflect me? So a partnership, I think one of the hardest parts at the beginning is deciding who those partners are. Moving forward from that, the next hardest part would be navigating the personalities.
Yeah.
Everybody that is involved in a restaurant on an executive level has either worked their way up, so they have the experience, they know what they're doing, they're set in their ways, they know what works, what didn't work.
Yeah.
Or they bought their way into it, which means that they're successful doing something else.
Yeah, so they don't necessarily have the experience in this world.
100%. But they do have experience. That experience comes with an ego.
Yeah.
It comes with expectations. It comes with a certain kind of air about yourself to where it doesn't really necessarily translate into working well together in a team setting. You don't have to win every battle. You don't have to be right all the time. In fact, it's better if you're proving me wrong a lot of times, because then you're hedging my mistakes, right? Isn't that better for the business?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would say choosing the right people and then navigating around these huge personalities that everyone thinks they're right. And a lot of times with partners, you know, if you're trusting me with an incredible sum of money, I might know that you're wrong. I might have to show you you're wrong in time.
Yeah.
But that costs the business money.
For sure.
So you have to pick and choose when you're planning to do that, and when sometimes you just have to let the money guys be the money guys.
Yeah, that's fair. Especially like launching a business and like getting things up and running, taking like outside money. I'm sure there's a lot of things you have to take into consideration on that front too, of like, how do I say this in a right way where it's not going to cause an issue with my partners or like those sorts of things. So I imagine navigating that can be, you know, incredibly difficult.
And it's really hard to do. And it's not just how you do it with the partners.
Yeah.
As me as an operator, I take so much time into building the culture that we were talking about earlier and making people feel like family. It's one thing if you figure out whatever that chemistry is between you and your funding partners. Then it's how do those funding partners affect the rest of the staff? Some of those guys, you know, I might tell someone, hey, listen, I see you trying.
Yeah.
Well, let's try it this way. Let's do it together. Let's do it better. And then when we do it, hey, do you think this worked? Was it easier for you? Did it work better? Is the product better? Yes? Okay, well then now that person is learning, they're taking ownership.
Okay.
Instead of saying, hey, you did something wrong, don't do it again.
Yeah.
My way's the best way.
Yeah.
And I think it's not only hard to navigate your personal relationship, but then how do those people affect and trickle down to other levels of your business? And I think that's very difficult to navigate.
Yeah, and then talking about, you know, obviously some difficult things to navigate. We are seated in Gino Marty's, and I feel like it's something that we should probably touch on and kind of talk about.
Please.
You know, there's been a lot of public reporting around Gino and Marty's, including, you know, some things on financial strain, legal challenges, some staff concerns. And, you know, when this kind of coverage appears, what goes through your mind as an owner and separately as a person?
You know, it's kind of hard to separate myself as an owner and as a person. I think I'm constantly growing as an owner and a person.
Yeah.
I think younger versions of me might reacted different, might have taken it more personally. For what has transpired here, was a couple bad seeds in what was otherwise a very good, positive experience. You know, unfortunately, we had a partner who was very toxic toward the business. And we've given that partner every chance to grow and to be better, and eventually parted ways. And when that person parted ways, the trail that they left was way too rocky to have a smooth process going forward.
Okay.
So as a person that I deem has class and character, I didn't want it becoming anything greater than it already was.
Gotcha.
So I decided to close the place. Let's stop the bleeding. Our staff culture became lazy, sloppy. People were taking advantage of everything. My customers were taking advantage. My staff was taking advantage. Partners were taking advantage of the good times. And those were all times that I personally created. Those were times that, no one in this place were putting in the hours that I put in. Of course, when all is said and done, and I decided to close the place for the better of everyone, for the better of the investors, for the better of the staff, for the better of myself and my own mental health and sanity, I thought a reset was necessary. We're restructuring the business. We're not kicking out any partners unless they choose that they don't want to be part of it. Sure, there's several staff members that I would offer a job to in the future as well, and there's plenty of them that have reached out to me, wishing me the best and looking forward to my reopening. This is a natural cycle in the restaurant business. There hasn't been one restaurant that has closed down, that hasn't faced debt, that hasn't faced turmoil or a couple legal proceedings. Nothing that we're talking about is so bad or intense that it can't be fixed. Every single, why would a restaurant close down if all of these things weren't happening? It's common sense. So because my name's on the door, because I was the one who spoke to the media, being someone that has nothing to hide, and I've done everything that I could in the best interest of my staff, of my partners, and for myself. I'm proud of what we created here at Gino and Marty's. I'm proud of the solutions that we're moving forward with to make sure that everyone feels the same way. But unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people that think otherwise. I know that those people don't know me. If anybody reading any of these articles of what happened here, I think immediately, if you actually know me, you know that that's not me. And that's not what I've been doing, and that's not what I've done.
Well, I mean, from that, right, I know we're referencing something in particular that, from your perspective, what do you feel that people most misunderstand from everything that has been publicly out there?
I think it's kind of cool for people to feel significant, to be in the know. Every single restaurant goes through these things. You owe some money to some distributors. You have to figure out whether that's settled in or out of court. Sure, there's some staff with some loose ends when you close that you have to take care of on the back end. They might have missed their last paycheck, or there were some problems in their employment while you're closing down and cutting corners and trying to keep everything afloat. Nobody wants to talk about my personal financial losses. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that I was in here, 80 hours a week, not getting paid anything. But because we were in the limelight, because I know all these celebrities that come in here, because they come in here, take pictures, because Kendrick Lamar throws his birthday party in here, and Kevin Hart likes to eat here, private dining all the time, because we're sitting in a booth where G-Eazy and Chance the Rapper shot their music video. Of course, when a natural business evolution happens, everyone wants to talk about it. Now it's this big story. And I just think people should worry about their own house.
I mean, that's completely fair. I mean, would you say that there were mistakes made throughout this, and
Absolutely.
Do you take accountability? Do you feel like, where does that tie in for you?
Absolutely, there's plenty of mistakes made. You know, I'm not, all of the mistakes that are made have been great learning experiences. And I know that even where the mistakes were made, I know that my intentions were always pure. I know I worked my ass off here. I know that there's not one customer, one investor that is second guessing my work ethic, my intentions, my quality of character.
Yeah.
And that means the most. But some of the things I definitely would have done differently is creating a better levels of transparency, creating more systems of checks and balances.
Yeah.
You know, I was almost too successful here to where I was expected to be the personality, the old school maitre d', the guy that everyone wants to see in the front of house, as well as be banging out the line,
For sure.
hitting dishes on the pass, you know, watching the inventory and food control, and then helping, you know, the servers execute. And then we have 3 different floors here, running down upstairs and downstairs, and we have a couple different kitchens to bring everything out to make sure that the expo of all those different kitchens are coming out at the right time, so that one table is served at an appropriate time, and everything's hot and organized and structured, as well as planning what could be the future of hospitality in Pasta Via, and having Bartucci running and keeping my family, supporting my dad and my uncle, and keeping them available and making myself and my resources available to them. So while I'm doing all of these things, I needed a lot better quality help to develop a little more transparency and checks and balances. And I guess that's one of the biggest mistakes I've made. Sometimes is trusting people.
Yeah. Well, with your name clearly being on the door, right? You know, Gino and Marty's, Gino, with reputation being, you know, so impacted by headlines and things like that, how did that affect you as a person? Obviously, I know you're still running other restaurants. How have you worked through that? How have you handled dealing with these things?
I've spent a lot of my career kind of looking in the mirror and almost having imposter syndrome. You know, all these people see me as this big figure, as this person, you know, as this celebrity, quote unquote. But from even my early days of opening Bartucci, I find myself sitting at home, looking in the mirror and being sure that I am the person that I think I am, that I'm the person they think I am, or I'm not the person they think I am. And in hospitality, when you're pioneering and you're forcing your success, you're willing it, you're working your ass off, you're refusing to lose. I'm a survivor, I'm a killer, I don't rest. And you almost think that since I'm so aggressive in that way, sometimes maybe at points, am I lying to myself? Do I have what it takes to make it? And I think a lot of other restaurateurs have had those moments where they look themselves in the mirror when they're by themselves and say, you know, am I the guy?
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember my first tasting at Gino Marty's when we were opening the place was actually at Bartucci. And Bartucci was slammed. It was like a Wednesday night, and I'm like, fuck, like this place is slammed. Like I have these 10 big money guys coming in here and they all want me to woo them.
For sure.
And like,
you got to do the show.
And I had to tell them, I said, you guys are waiting for the tasting because I'm short staffed, I'm packed, and I'm taking care of my guests first.
Yeah.
So it was like a 50-50, you know, like, is that a good thing Gino did that? Or, you know, and then the you know, the ego guys are, we need to get served now. And then after that tasting, you know, not everything I put forth in that tasting, I was actually proud of. I know I could have did a better job, but I chose my customers first. And those, some of those investors the next day told one of my partners, we don't know if Gino's the guy. Is Gino the guy? And you had many moments where I thought to myself, not only am I going to bust my ass every day, I'm going to work 80 hours a week, I'm going to be watching every guest that comes in here, I'm going to touch every plate, and I'm going to shove it down your throat that not only am I the guy, that I'm the only fucking guy.
Yeah.
And having that chip on your shoulder and making sure that I show that, I don't say that.
Yeah.
I've done that for the last 2+ years here. This media kind of short-lived media outburst, or what anyone might think at home, I'm still that guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to be that guy and you're going to want to get behind that guy in a couple months.
Heard. Well, thank you for sharing that with me. No, that's great. I was going to ask, with this space in particular, like, what was the specific point that you decided to, to fight, to rebuild, or to, ultimately like let go?
Yeah, there's been a couple points at different times where, one day you feel that you're going to go in one direction, and the next day something happens and you're like, maybe just like I should sell it all, right? We do have a good lease. We do have a great address. I could sell the license. I could sell the lease. I could be fine personally.
Yeah.
I could be fine personally doing a lot of things. This is not about me personally.
Yeah.
This is about all the people that believed in me.
Mm-hmm.
This is about people that didn't believe in me, that I have something to prove.
Yeah.
And it's all about proving something to myself as well. And I think it's really important that, I have some opportunities, or had some opportunities, might still have many opportunities to make it a different concept altogether.
Yeah.
But it was important to me to keep some of the same investors out of respect, out of class, because you trusted me with your money.
Yeah, to do this, to build
And I don't
this.
care about any of the legalities.
Yeah.
I still have to wake up in the morning and I want to look at you or see your son one day and stand up proud and be proud of what I've done and who I've become.
Yeah.
So it's more than just a legal contract for me.
Yeah.
So reopening, it was important to me to have some remnants of what made this place great.
Yeah.
In 3,000 square feet.
Yeah.
People all around the world knew about Gino and Marty's.
That's true. Yeah.
I've cooked for over 300 plus A-list celebrities.
Yeah.
You could argue that there isn't another chef in the city that has cooked and accommodated more celebrities
Than yourself.
So that is just a little kid from Harlem Avenue who just grew up in a pasta shop.
Yeah.
So if you're telling me that I can do this, then we should go back to some of the things that work.
Yeah.
But just as my story with my family evolves, this is an evolutionary tale. And we will evolve into something that we were always meant to be. And I'll quickly remind everybody that I'm the guy.
Heard. Well, from going through all of that, how has it changed how you operate today, right? I mean, Pasta Via is still moving, doing its thing. Yes. I know you have a bunch of other projects still in the background that are either coming into fruition too. How has this experience dealing with either these things publicly or having to actually like close this location down, what is that setting you up for the future? How are you thinking operationally moving forward from here?
So I think operationally, I used to invest in a lot of my staff. I used to invest personally in a lot of my staff that I would bring up. I think now it is going to be the largest line item of my expense report is paying for the best staff. As much as I talk about family and culture, which is important in your operating team, I do expect to work with the best of the best.
Heard.
I do expect my managers to want something more out of their life than just taking a job or riding my coattails for the next several years, thinking that they were an incredible, irreplaceable part of the machine when I've replaced many of them, and I continue to several times. So I think something that I've really learned is to create boundaries because not everybody has your back. And they will have your back as long as it's working out for them. And I constantly have made decisions to put people ahead of me, but very few people, if any, in my life have put me ahead of them.
Gotcha.
So I think it's given me a little more structure, a little more investment into cultivating the best talent. And having that little line, creating that boundary of love versus fear. And understanding the importance of being loved. But the primary use of being feared over that love. I think that's more important than love. And, I hate to say it, and I hate to be jaded by this experience. But in a lot of ways, I do feel taken advantage of by my staff, by partners. by other people just because I am the hardest working person in the room.
Yeah.
And I plan to continue to be. So moving forward, I think structures, transparency is the utmost important.
Yeah.
But creating boundaries.
Yeah.
And making sure that we're bringing up talent appropriately.
Yeah.
And they're brought up based on their merits and not obligation. And I think restaurant owners, we get caught in being obligated to a lot of our staff because this guy's been with me for 8 years and he deserves a shot.
Yeah.
Might be the laziest fuck in the room. You know, he's the one not wearing suits every day.
Yeah.
When the guy who just got the job is hungry, putting on a fresh, clean suit, coming to work 10 minutes early, but the guy who's been there for 8 years is kind of taking it too easy. You know, so those are the things that you have to kind of, ask yourself and be honest with what I could be doing better.
Yeah.
And I look forward to doing 2.0 a lot better.
I know we started this whole thing talking about legacy, and I feel like the last question in this segment should kind of finish up there. So when you look ahead, what is that legacy you are committed to building and leaving with, the Gino's name attached to it?
You know, my dad and my uncle are getting older. It's really important for me in the near future that whenever they look back upon their lives, I want them to view what I'm doing with pride and know that I appreciate all of the work and turmoil and stress that they've put themselves through.
Yeah.
And that our last name will live on in people's most fond memories. And I think that's the greatest gift that I could give to my dad in his old age. So that's something I'd like to continue to work on.
Well, thank you for sharing. I know that section is, a little bit more emotional charge. We wanted to get serious here for a little bit. We are going to wrap it up with something a little bit more lighthearted.
Yeah, cool.
So
Let's do it, baby.
this last segment we do refer to as our tasting menu. It's a set of 6 questions that we ask every single guest on the show. And we're just going to kind of jump through them. Run through them.
Questions.
Exactly. So
Let's do it.
Starting with our amuse-bouche.
Yes.
What is the smallest gesture of hospitality that's had the largest impact on you?
Honestly, the largest impact, I mean, it's a little more than a small gesture, but my holy cannoli, the big
giant
cannoli,
one, right?
The big cannoli with all the mini cannolis. I brought that out for someone's birthday years ago, and now that's it's like a infamous thing. When
I love the holy cannoli. I mean,
it's drunk, and
I've seen it at a few parties, and it is stunning.
Yeah. Like it's lived beyond me at this point. It's bigger than I am. So, I think that small gesture just started as, giving someone a little excitement and a little extra bite, and it turned into, we can't wait for the holy
cannoli to come out.
We can't wait for the holy cannoli. I'm here on my birthday because of the holy cannoli.
I love that.
Yeah,
okay.
for sure.
Well, jumping into our appetizer, what dish, drink, or moment first made you fall in love with hospitality?
I remember when I was in Italy, and my cousin who passed away, he had a bakery, and he made this beautiful homemade bread, sliced a little bit of prosciutto and the mozzarella di bufala, and I thought, and it looked like nothing, but then come together, it was such a beautiful thing, and I said, shit, I got to have more of this, and I want to continue this journey somehow, some way.
Somehow, some way. Okay. Jump into our entree. What is the hardest part of the work that guests never get to see?
Oh, literally everything. Just the cuts, the burns, the depression, the interactions with the staff, the amount of variables that we deal with on a daily basis. Whatever you're dealing with in your life, you have to put aside, because your guest is there to enjoy their experience, and they don't care what's going on with you in your life. Yeah. And it might be a Tuesday for you, but to that person, it's one of their most important nights. So you have to act like that every table, every guest.
Okay. What does good taste mean to you?
Good taste is timeless. Good taste should be something that represents a class and a story. Everyone grew up with different tastes, flavors, and experience. And I think good taste is something that triggers a nostalgic moment or a moment of happiness, because if it doesn't, we're just eating for fuel, and that takes a big beauty out of life. And I think that's important. That's what good taste is about.
Well, thank you. And lastly, to our digestif, if you can leave our listeners with one thing from your journey, one lesson, what would it be?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Be the man you are, and then become the man you're meant to be. I think it's important to be honest, to be trustworthy, to be a good character. And you might not know what tomorrow has in store, but if you are wholeheartedly honest with yourself and becoming the best version of yourself, the world will open its doors and you will have a seat where you're meant to be seen.
Okay. Gino, thank you for your honesty and for taking the time to walk through the full story here with me.
Thank you.
This conversation was about craft, it was about accountability, and the work that it takes to keep earning trust over a long amount of time. I really do appreciate you being willing to have this chat with me.
Thank you for taking the time to have this chat. It means a lot.
Well,
and it's always great to see you and catch up with you.
It's always great to see you as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Gino. I'm Aidan Descourouez. This has been all in good taste. Did the little hand at the end.